Hello, I'm Aver, Hazel, or Kylie. You can just pick one, I don't care.
Hello, I am Lily.
And welcome to the From the Closet podcast. Today we're covering Amphibia Season 2. Uh, so, obviously, spoilers for that. You can join us next week for something, don't know what it is yet, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, which I'm definitely looking forward to that.
I guess I can say the same.
But yeah, Amphibia, blah, blah, blah. The description, you'll find a link to Just Watch, which will have links to every place you can rent, purchase, or stream Amphibia. Our link is to the US version of the site, but if you use the app, it will automatically redirect you to your country's page, and you can change the country from the website page manually yourself if you need to. Also in the description is a link to our Patreon where you can vote on future episodes of the show and get access to early episodes as well as early episodes of our sister show Off the Shelf, which is about books and is exclusive to YouTube and Patreon. And also in the description is a link to Anchor.fm, which contains links to every platform this podcast is on, and it also has links to our Instagram and Twitter where you can be notified when we release a new episode. And we're getting a lot of Instagram followers for some reason.
Yeah, in fact not even our episode watch count is going up dramatically. No, it's just our Instagram followers, which I find very interesting.
I think the thing that's weird is that the thing about it that's odd to me is like our Instagram count is going up, but our episode watch count is remaining consistent, which tells me that people aren't watching every episode, and I wouldn't really expect them to. It tells me that there's just as many people who are interested in watching, say, our Darkest Minds episode as there are who are interested in watching our Ant-Man episode, or something like that. I don't know.
Well, I'm also seeing something like a lot of our Instagram followers are following your Instagram, and that's how they found this Instagram.
See, that's
so I'm
weird.
just wondering if a lot of people are just following who the people that they're following and don't even know we're actually doing a podcast.
That would be an interesting idea. The thing is, I don't even use my Instagram.
Yeah, I also don't even know how you have Instagram followers. There's that.
Yeah, like, I don't fucking use it. Like, it literally only exists because I needed to talk to a friend of mine, and that was all he had. Of course, now I have another way to talk to him, so I don't even use it for that anymore. So yeah.
We can now approach our spoiler section of tonight's episode.
Yeah, so
I post this in the middle of the fucking day. You can watch it whenever, but
yeah, I mean, hell, you could be watching this in space, in which case it's not day or night. You never know.
That's fucking confusing. Anyway,
Schrodinger's time of day. It's both neither. It's neither day nor night, and it's also both day and night.
hot damn. But anyway, spoilers now. If you don't want spoilers, go away.
Yeah, because I'm gonna spoil. I'm gonna spoil shit in like 3, 2, 1. Marcy dies, or does she?
Actually, I was gonna say, it's nice to have the first ever human shish kebab in a Disney show.
I don't know if it was the first ever, but I can't immediately think of another one. But yeah, so I do want to talk about some of the things I don't really like. I do like kind of enjoy this show. I wouldn't finish it if it wasn't for the podcast, but it's fine overall. I think like
God, I remember my hype when the rest of season 3 came out.
I don't know. It doesn't have something that grips me the way that Gravity Falls did, or the way that Star versus the Forces of Evil did before they ruined it, or even The Owl House. For me, it doesn't have a hook that pulls me in. Especially, I
Yeah,
think
no,
I think
sorry,
especially
just
because I don't find a lot of the main characters, specifically the main ones, Sprig, Hopadiah, Anne, to be really that interesting. Personally, I don't. Polly is different because Polly's adorable, but
now just imagine like Disney's Hook, and you're just like, man, it's okay. I'm just like just straight gunning for it. It's like this is fucking delicious.
yeah, I mean, like to me, the interesting characters are like Sasha, Marcy, and
Oh
you'd
God,
have you'd have
Sasha is
you
probably
you'd
one of my
have
favorite characters.
you yeah, but then like you'd have cases where we'd go like 6 or 7 episodes without them, and I don't know. It's just to me, it doesn't really hook me that much if I'm not really seeing my favorite characters that much.
I like Sasha because especially her influence stays with all of season 2.
I think Sasha's
What she
character is
did
probably
in
the
Toad Tower.
I think Sasha's character is probably the most complex out of any of the characters in this show. It certainly
Definitely.
like it feels like she has more depth than really anyone else.
Though I do like Anne's depth as well, as obviously it's not much with Sasha. Her depth is basically coming to her own terms of realizing Sasha was an asshole
Yeah.
and that her friendship was really flawed. And hell, her entire idea of what is a friend supposed to be and who she is supposed to be is very flawed.
Yeah, but like so this started because I wanted to say some things like things I didn't like. And a lot of it has to do with
Mhm.
just the kind of show Amphibia is. It's not super serialized, and is a lot more episodic. And as I get older and older, I'm not liking episodic shows nearly as much. Um, there is some serialization to it, which I like. I think the first like the first third of the season or so was pretty good because of how serialized that was. But then at the same time, there were some things in there where I was just like, all right, this was unnecessary. In
Well, I wouldn't
particular,
say the first third was much serialized. Like you can show any point of that to anyone, and you can still get the same
no, like it's a
aspect.
it's serialized because like there's a progression here. It's like, oh, we start in Wartwood and they're getting ready to leave, and then they leave, and now they're on the road, and look, they're still on the road, and now they've arrived in Newtopia, and here's some shenanigans going on in Newtopia, and now they're meeting the king.
Then they leave Newtopia, and that's when the real like the plot heavy stuff happens when they leave Newtopia and when the first quest begins.
See, that I don't necessarily agree with because I feel like there's like a little bit of a break in there where there's just all kinds of eh
There's a little
stuff.
bit of a break, but like there's a bit of a break main plot, a little bit of a break main plot.
Yeah, I feel like to me there are times where the pacing just gets really slow, and I find myself wishing that Disney Plus had a speed up feature like Netflix
Though
has.
ever since the third temple, then third temple onward with the 2 Sasha episodes, those are absolutely needed because it definitely shows Sasha's character interacting. And while Sasha hasn't not repented her ways yet, you can see her remorse.
Yeah, like
Like,
anytime Sasha's on
is this
screen,
really what she wants?
I am enjoying the show.
Marcy, I had no idea how much level of depth Marcy was given in this show until rewatching it.
Yeah, I do.
Because
But before we like actually start discussing Marcy's character, I want to like kind of finish what I was saying. Um,
Hmm.
but just before that, I do want to go on a side tangent about Disney Plus because I have to complain.
Okay.
I have to complain about the fact that Disney Plus has done a horrible job at subtitling this show.
Hmm.
Like it is actually awful. Almost any scene has subtitles that are inaccurate, and it annoyed me so much. I mean
I
that
sometimes I watch with subtitles. I think today I just didn't.
I almost always watch stuff with subtitles on just because like it's easier to like it's easier than having to rewind if I misheard something and can't figure out what someone said.
Oh yeah. I guess usually I watch subtitles on, though it's not a deal breaker if they're off.
Yeah,
And I just don't want to turn them back on.
but I think for me the thing that I have a problem with about it is like there are people who are hard of hearing or literally can't hear at all, and the character they'll in their mind the characters will have been saying something that's at least in
Never
some
happened.
ways different to what to yeah, like they're going to be saying things that are very different to what they actually said. And the these semantic details actually do matter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a problem. So the other thing that I don't really like, the episode 13A, we deal with like Ivy having mother issues, particularly the fact that her mother is a perfectionist and like is nitpicking literally every single thing that she does. And this is something that I have personally dealt with, where literally every single thing that you do for your parents, everything they ask you to do, they are never satisfied with with your work, no matter how good of a job you do. They're not satisfied, and they will find some excuse to nitpick. Never show gratitude. Constantly, and like you deal with this constant criticism for months and months and months and months, and then when you finally snap and say something back to them, you're the one with the attitude problem. And I'm sorry, but this episode really just annoyed the shit out of me. Because like Ivy did nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's just to me the resolution at the end of that episode felt weird. But I guess
I mean, the entire episode also just felt weird, especially with Anne just going off on her own with Muay Thai.
yeah, and then that was its own thing. And then also like this episode also doesn't really matter in the context. In the context of the season, this episode also doesn't really matter that much. So this is what I'm talking about with like the breaks that make the pacing of the show feel weird. But maybe that's just me. So
Okay, I have to edit that out.
yeah, we'll probably just edit out some of these like gaps of silence. I don't know what was going on.
Um, I'm glad that you're talking in between that, so I can just put all silence.
Yeah, I'll be editing this anyway, so it won't be that big of a deal. But so yeah, I don't know. It's just the pacing. It felt weird to me. I feel like a lot of shows like this would benefit from having shorter seasons that are more packed with plot. And it feels like a lot of the time when a show has like 20 episodes a season, they have to create some filler to make it work.
So, you talked about your least favorite episode. I would like to talk about my favorite episode that's not the finale.
Go
if you
ahead.
don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
So my favorite episode has to be Hopping Mall. And I guess I just want to talk about the end scene. With Anne talking about her mom. And because Lou's talking about her mom. Actually, no, I don't want to bring up Owl House because I will accidentally spoil, so ignore that. So,
Yeah.
with Anne talking about her mom, she hasn't seen her mom in so long, and that isn't by choice. She got tricked in becoming to Amphibia. And it's contrast to Sprig, who has never had a mom that she knew of. And just the raw emotional line of, can you miss a person that you've never met? I do not know how you could even replicate that moment into something else. I feel like it's just so much raw emotion that these characters actually feel like actual people.
And I will bring up Owl House for a second here because like I almost wonder if we're going to explore that with Luz's dad because we've never seen him.
Oh, wait. Wasn't that in another episode?
Anyway,
Oh, wait. Are you talking about Amphibia or when are you talking about Dad?
I was talking about the Owl House. Like I was saying that I think they might explore a similar thing in Owl House season 3, if you can even really call season 3 a season.
I need to do a bit of research before I. Oh, wait. No, you've seen. I'm going to talk to you after the podcast.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
I don't know.
So, actually, talking about their parents, I do actually want to explore that because while I can explore that infinitely in our season 3 episode, I love the foreshadowing because we not only hear Anne's mom in the first season, we then see her mom, at least in the past. And my god, do I love it, Anne's mom and dad. I think that's one of the best parts about season 3.
Yeah, well, we're not on season 3 yet, so.
Yeah, just especially the, you know what, I want you to leave my kitchen now.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. Shit, she was singing some song. Yeah, it was "Wannabe" by the Spice Girls, but it was a I guess parody of it. That was the other reference I couldn't remember earlier because I was thinking like this season made a lot of references. Like they referenced Scooby Doo, they referenced the streetcar named Desire, they referenced Gravity Falls, and then there was another thing that I had caught that like I remembered that they referenced, and you just reminded me of what it was. It was they were referencing the Spice Girls.
Was it a goofy Thai love song?
No, it was just a really goofy song. I don't even think I would call it it probably is a love song, but I don't really. I'm not sure if it's Thai.
One?
I'm not sure that it's Thai. That's the thing. But then again, I know next to nothing about the Spice Girls. I just know that this song exists and it's really goofy.
I guess if it's Anne's. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna from now on. I'm gonna call her Mrs. Boone Choi because that's what they call her in season 3.
Mm.
Um, but Mrs. Boone Choi has such an interesting character for never being on screen. Like never actually being on screen in a present format. It was only flashbacks.
Yeah. And
So I love
the
how
reference.
they treat that. Hmm?
Yeah.
Avery?
So I'm still here.
Sorry.
Like there was some weird stuff going on with the connection there for a second. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's fine now. So oh well. But yeah, the references in this show, that they were a lot, and like there was that one episode that was like literally just the whole episode was referencing Gravity Falls. Um, and like it's led me to believe that now I don't think Owl House, Star versus the Forces of Evil, Gravity Falls, Rick and Morty, all these shows, I don't think they're as directly connected as I previously thought. I now think it's like some multiverse or omniverse shenanigans. More than likely omniverse, just because of the how the events of Star versus the Forces of Evil played out.
Oh, hey, we finished that show.
Yeah, we did. And we also finished Gravity Falls.
God, now we're probably never going to touch Rick and Morty unless we get really bored.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know if I want to touch Rick and Morty. Just
and then I
on
guess the only thing we have to cover is the Owl House.
Yeah, and I do want to wait to cover the Owl House. I want to get away from Disney for a bit.
Yeah.
Although I wish we could have covered Teen Titans, but unfortunately you no longer have HBO Max.
Yeah. God, for tomorrow's recording, we have to severely change up the wheel.
Yeah, we do. So a lot of episodes are just not going to happen now.
I
Unfortunate.
just like how like all this happened like a week plus ago, but we haven't changed anything on the wheel yet because we didn't have to yet.
Yeah, we still haven't recorded a Wheel movie episode in like 3 weeks. It's been a mess. And then like HBO Max might be going away anyway, so that's something too.
God, yeah. Um,
But
but
yeah, like I
like
do really
other
appreciate.
than the finale, which I want to cover as its own thing, what other things that we haven't really touched upon?
Well, hold on, I do want to say that like I really appreciate how this show does like try to reference. I love that it references a lot of stuff. Like even in season one, there was like that reference to Mario Kart that was pretty memorable.
Yeah, that actually was really memorable.
Yeah. Um, some other stuff like
Calling
I
him,
remember.
I barely know him.
Some other stuff that I can remember
Sorry.
is like talking about like Anne and Polly's perception of college that isn't really remotely accurate to what college is like. But then also Sprig's experience isn't accurate either, so like that's its own thing. But college is nothing like what Anne and Polly thought it was, because like all they know is from like movies and shows and
Trash
junk.
TV.
Yeah. And I mean
Which that's accurate because trash TV be trash TV.
yeah, for real. I also hate that we didn't mention in our season one episode about like
Hmm.
Anne pinning Sprig to the wall and basically threatening him
Oh,
over
right.
pineapple on pizza.
Oh, I forgot about that part.
which is based, but I mean, whatever. Also, eh,
Nah, I'll have pineapple on my pizza any day of the week.
cringe. I mean, okay, I do appreciate that the pineapple on pizza argument has come along and become a thing because it's taken all the heat away from the ranch on pizza argument. Like all of it.
That
Nowadays,
is a bit
nobody cares.
weird. Yeah.
Nobody cares anymore if you
Yeah.
put ranch on pizza.
I just hate the advertisements of like the ranch companies, like, your pizza is naked if you don't have ranch on it.
I don't think I've ever seen a ranch ad at all.
It's mostly on cable.
And this is why I don't have cable.
Oh god, I can rant about one of my streaming cable programs, Bob Ross. Is just all the advertisements is just testosterone supplement pills.
Oh God.
That's all it is.
Yeah, that's awkward.
And also, I'm just like, I don't think this is the primary audience of Bob Ross.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about that just feels kind of weird to me. But also, speaking of ads, I saw a YouTube short recently from Dan Povenmire, uh, and he was like reacting to the official like Pillow Pets TikTok account announcing that they were
Huh.
like bringing back the Perry the Platypus pillow pet. He had no idea. Disney literally didn't tell him.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I guess it's not that big of
he
a deal. It's
literally
just
found
a
out
pillow
from
pet, but still.
yeah, like he literally found out from the like official account sending like releasing that TikTok.
God, I remember pillow pets. I used to have one actually.
I never did. But nah.
Okay, I actually want like to reel in the topic and talk about True Color, or yeah, I think it is True
True
Colors.
True Colors,
But
which
to
honestly is a
talk
very
about this,
sorry. True Colors is honestly a very um I feel like the name True Colors, like naming an episode True Colors is kind of overdone. Like so many shows have an episode named True Colors. And I'm just like,
really, I don't
yeah,
remember.
yeah, it's like just stop, please. Like
I mean, it makes sense in this context, like because it's the True Colors, which I actually like it very much in this context, because you already think you know what this episode is, because you already know, Sasha is gonna betray everyone, but it actually means that the actual episode means about Marcy's betrayal, and I
I don't
guess
even
Candace's as well.
I don't even really think Marcy's like secret being revealed even really constitutes as a betrayal. But like I think most of what happened in the finale felt like predictable to me. Like I knew Marcy was hiding something and that it wasn't going to be that big of a deal, at least compared to like what Sasha was hiding or compared to what King Andrius was hiding, which like I also figured out he was evil well before there was even the hint in the middle of the season because something about him seemed off even in the early episodes.
Um,
I also
so
knew.
I actually want to talk about something else.
Hold on,
Is you can't talk about this. No, you can't talk about this episode without talking about the fuck up that happened.
yeah, I just
Because
want to
this
get into the
episode
other
was
stuff. I just want to get into the other stuff that I knew before I forget what I actually like. The stuff that I knew was going to happen before I forget and have to talk about it again later and can't remember what I had already said that I had predicted.
I kind of wanted to get into before I even started talking about the actual episode. Ugh. Ugh.
I mean, we kind
But
of
yeah,
had been talking about it for like a minute or two before that, but yeah. So
kind of,
I
yeah.
had I had predicted, like, obviously it's not that much of a prediction to say Sasha is going to betray them all, because I mean, they literally they're building up to it. Like it's very clear. Andreas is a little more unclear. There was like one scene, but I had suspicions about him well beforehand. The robot that was following the planters throughout all of the first half of the season, I was like, that robot's going to be good. Like, that robot is like not actually going to be dangerous, and either it's going to get like possessed or hacked in some way, and the planters will have to destroy it, because that was my thought process. That was that they'd have to destroy it, and it would be a big emotional moment. But no, King Andreas just destroyed it. So there was that. I also had predicted that Sprig was going to die in the finale, and that didn't happen, but it almost did. So,
Okay, yeah. I just need to get this off because
oh yeah, and then I also
um,
predicted that they would, like, that Anne would go, like, Anne and the planters would go back to the human world, and that Marcy and Sasha would be left behind. Because
mhm.
the same thing happened in the Owl House.
So this this episode was leaked because of iTunes and bad scheduling. I think Disney Channel's excuse was the fact that it was bad scheduling and they had to delay it. iTunes obviously didn't get the memo. This
Yeah,
led into a big scene of where it's disrespect. And I really want to talk about Lisa as a whole, because as much as you want to go off and just watch the episode, I would argue that it is disrespectful to the original creator to not watch it when it's supposed to come out.
except that it kind of is when it was supposed to come out, and the TV release date was delayed.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, when I say this, it's because, like, obviously, because when it gets leaked like this, multiple things happen. Well, first of all, every troll on the internet goes to watch it and then spoils the shit out of everyone. So either you watch it early, or you get spoiled on it. But watching it early is disrespectful to the original creator because you're not watching it on the official platform that give Disney resurgence to realize, oh, people like this show.
I'm sorry, but no, that is not accurate. You're watching it on iTunes, where Disney is still making money off of it. Like,
But
this is different.
no, because they took it off of like when this stuff happens, it releases on iTunes, gets taken off of iTunes, but someone always downloads it and they release it themselves.
Well, see, that's not what you said before. If you go and watch it, like, if you watched it on iTunes when it was on iTunes, that's perfectly fine.
Well, I guess, but I mean, I don't have to exactly say this. Every time when this entire stuff was blowing up, the creators was even saying, like, please, for the love of God, please just wait like the few days for it to officially release. I bring this up especially because Disney did it again with Owl House this time.
And I feel like this also happened before with Star vs. the Forces of Evil Season 2, with the final 2 episodes of that season, because those aired on the same day, like pretty much the same time slot. You remember how I mentioned in our coverage of that show, how like Disney would do these live streams with the voice actors of Marco and Star, and they'd have like avatars of the
Yeah.
characters on screen. Yeah, like they had acknowledged that some people, like in that live stream, they had acknowledged that some people had already seen these last two episodes and were like actively telling people to not spoil it. I didn't really see any spoilers in
Yeah.
chat, thankfully, but it was something. Like it was a weird thing, and I don't know. I don't know that iTunes was the one that leaked it that time around, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
And it's interesting because at the time everyone was blaming Disney, and Disney was to blame about one thing in particular: the complete reschedule of everyone's favorite show, at least at everyone that was watching it on premiere day. But were they really to blame for the leak if iTunes has been up to this shit more than once? This is just iTunes, not like all the other places where you can buy or rent these shows. It is just iTunes.
I feel like that's not like a lot of companies will like accidentally leak something that like the original like studio behind it didn't intend for either that information or for that episode to be leaked. Like, Amazon leaked the Skyward Sword remake 2 years before it would even be announced.
Damn.
And like ratings boards leak stuff all the time, like constantly before they're announced. And it's not even just the ESR. It's not even just the ESRB. It's pretty much every ratings board, honestly.
I remember. I'm just talking about leaks that actually, hurt these companies. So not leaks that are, just information, but actual episodes that were planned to release sometime later.
But yeah, like I personally, okay, if you did go and watch the finale like early, whether you did it when it was like actually on iTunes or through like a downloaded version, I wouldn't really say it's disrespectful if you also then went and watched it on TV when it aired.
That's true. Very true. And obviously, I would not hold it against anyone who never knew that the episode wasn't supposed to be released. Like, if you just flat out didn't know, like, you should not be held responsible because of iTunes or everyone else spreading this information around.
Yeah, like especially when iTunes will like literally send you a notification about an episode releasing that you've pre-ordered. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think
that's another thing as well.
So yeah, like I wouldn't really hold that against people. What I will hold against Disney, on the other hand, is releasing shit on Disney Plus months after it releases on TV. It's been really annoying to be a person who watches the Owl House as it's coming out and doesn't have cable. Really annoying. I've been spoiled on so many things.
These releases do actually have good viewage on cable, and all the reruns as well.
I'm sorry, but having it available for streaming will not change the cable views in any meaningful way, because the people that are watching it on cable and the people that are watching it on Disney Plus are fundamentally different audiences entirely.
I mean, I can physically do it on both.
Yeah, you can do it on both. Most people can't. It's not going to have that big of a meaningful impact, as Nickelodeon would later would have found out earlier with The Legend of Korra.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that recently.
Yeah, it's like the online streaming audience is very different to the cable audience. They're very different. But the problem is, like, I will see news articles in my Discover tab on my phone, and I literally can't avoid them because anytime I go to Google, they're there. And like those
I do
articles will
hate
have
articles.
spoilers in the like in the image thumbnail and in the title of the article. I got so many things spoiled for the Owl House just because my phone, just because Google's algorithm knew that I liked the show. So it was promoting that stuff when it was stuff that I hadn't seen. And I don't blame Google for this. I blame Disney for not simultaneously releasing the episodes on Disney Plus.
I mean, I blame articles for being dicks, but you know.
I mean, this is like Crunchyroll would always simultaneously release episodes. Like, you'd always get releases of episodes of anime like a day after they came out in Japan, because it does take some time to subtitle the episodes. But like Disney Plus, nah, we're just not going to we're not going to simul release. Never mind that you're paying more. You're paying more for this.
Though of course I do want to talk about the actual episode, the final episode.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because there's something very interesting about this episode, and that warning. I do not know why. Because in some scenes, like, you know, this could actually be, you know, scary for younger audiences. But at the
Especially
same
people that
time,
have especially people that have a fear of heights.
oh, I was thinking about the death scene, but yeah, that also works as well.
I mean, yeah, like we literally see a character get stabbed through her torso, and like I've said before, I don't think she's dead. Like, I don't know, just to me, it's a
Yeah.
magic sword. There's probably a magical way to heal from it.
I mean, in that same scene, we actually do see her alive in a testing tube. They did simultaneously also release the season 3 intro with the season 2 finale.
I
think
also
that
do.
was to confirm that she was alive.
Yeah. I also do have a complaint. There is an episode somewhere in the season where like all the characters are like telling scary stories. I'm really getting tired of these like anthology types of episodes. Cause like I don't know, they just don't really they don't do it for me. Cause you're always
I
gonna
actually
have
really like sorry.
you're always gonna have some stories that are just flat out boring or bad, and then the other stories that quote unquote make it worth it. But it's like, it's never a good solid package where all the stories are great. And that's true here too. And
Um
that's also true in Avatar The Last Airbender, where like the tale of Sokka is just and same with the tale of Toph and Katara. But then you have the tale of Zuko and the tale of Iroh, and those are both great. Oh yeah, and then there's the tale of Aang. I completely forgot that existed. And the tale of Momo was also great.
there's a part where if I guess we're talking about that episode for 5 seconds, but just the how Polly is trying to come up with, scary stories. It makes you think, like, everything that they've gone through. Yeah, that could be a scary story.
Yeah,
Um,
but
God,
like
the
they'd
final
all been
episode.
through all of it. And
Yeah,
Gravity
the
Falls
final
also had a
episode.
similar episode too. Just pointing that out.
Um, I do not know. When I was, God, yeah, when I was first watching Amphibia and I saw that warning screen, I just got straight chills. Like, what is so bad about this scene instead of, I don't know, the last finale? And this scene, this wastes no time getting into the action. In the 3-minute mark, we have Sasha um taking out guards, taking the music box and threatening to throw it out. And then this leads into probably one of my favorite fight scenes of this show. To later have everything wrapped up and then throw in your face. And it's like, oh, now we have this happening.
And I don't know, like the Anne randomly getting powers thing was like one of the few things in the finale that I just fully did not expect to happen. And it kind of feels weird. I don't want to call it a Deus Ex
Um,
Machina because it's not that bad, but
Also, Anne's power is not like one of those Dragon Ball powers that, happens and then never comes back again.
that doesn't
Um,
typically. Okay, that does not typically happen very often in Dragon Ball. In fact, I can literally think of one case where that happened, and that's it.
okay, well, whatever. Like, this power will come back and get a little bit more explained, but not much.
I should certainly hope so. Like, I really do hope it gets explained.
I mean, most of the explanation is actually from the own an episode prior, and I think also I want to say that all of this was foreshadowed from episode 1, and I mentioned it in our episode, but I never elaborated. Anne's eyes glowed blue for a split second in that episode. This later happens with Sasha's eyes glowing pink and Marcy's eyes glowing green before the actual temples, which has all of the gem power sucked from them into the gem.
Are you telling me that in season 3 this show is going to turn into a magical girl anime?
Um, in the finale,
Of course.
I'm not gonna lie. There is some parts, and yes, this is the one of the weirdest parts about this show. The longer it goes on, the more anime it gets. Season 3 fucking has an anime outro.
Of
I
course it
don't know
does.
how I feel about this.
I mean, Star
And
versus the Forces of Evil, when that show did its when that show changed the outro for seasons 3 and 4, that outro also felt very anime.
You'll understand what I mean when we get to that. And I
Yeah.
definitely prefer season 1 and 2's outro versus that. The intro actually is very reminiscent towards the season 1 and 2, which I love.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I kind of want to wrap things up.
Fair enough. I guess I don't have that much more to say, except no, I have to save it all for my season 3. Because most of what I want to say is from season 3.
Yeah, so definitely save it. I will say
Mhm.
though, like with your discussion on foreshadowing, there's going to be like when we eventually cover Red versus Blue, there's like a big twist in the show that happens in like season 6 or season 7 that is literally being foreshadowed throughout the entire show, even starting from like the first
Oh shit! I actually
episode of
forgot
season
something.
1. I
I
actually
actually forgot. Sorry, there is one more thing I want to bring up. So there's theories about the girl's powers, the actual gems, and a lot
what
of
are they, the crystal
people
gems?
point to like King Andreas and that broken painting that you can see in one of the episodes. I have to say, I just want to briefly say that this is not right based on what we know. And then the actual general, what should be the accepted theory is that the powers of the gems just went into three girls when they transported it for the first time.
Whatever.
I don't know why, but that's just what happened.
All right. So there's no critic ratings to get into because we saved those for the end of the show.
I
So
am actually looking forward to see what the critic ratings is. Just in general.
what would you give this show or this season, I should say?
With this wonderful season, God, it has to be somewhere above 8.5 at least. So I'm gonna give it 8.7.
Okay. So I was gonna give this season a 7.2. However, there are two Wilhelm screams in it. So
I think I only
7.0.
caught the one, like one.
Yeah, there is one in episode 3B, and there is one in the finale.
Ah, I think I caught the one in episode 3.
Yeah. So 7.0. That's where I'm left at. You can join us next week for something and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, which should be fun. All right. Well, with everything being said, I've been Avery, that's been Lily, and we will be seeing you